Hello everyone, and welcome back to PLD Disc Golf. This is the exciting conclusion for the second Greater Peoria Tour stop, Mayhem at McNasty. Ben is going to finish this off with me.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. And, gosh, this is like I said, the second tour stop. There's a lot more coming. I'm excited to see how the rest of this tour plays out. But to bring us back to frame of reference, we're back at McNaughton Park. We're playing the long pads on a back nine that is really scoreable.
Very scoreable. Yeah, you got a lot of par fours that are kind of the extended version of the par threes that we saw in the first round, where you get not that much distance added. Mm-hmm. One more stroke to par. It's attackable.
Yeah, very much so. So I think a lot of the people chasing our current leader, CJ Zobel, are looking to take a lot of strokes. Starting here with hole 10, I did not fly from the correct tee pad on this one, but there's an alternate tee pad to the left, a similar distance. This is a par 4, and players are looking to either pitch a safe shot up here to the dirt pack for a little pitch up for a easy birdie. Maybe some people might be getting aggressive.
Yeah, this one's really, really tough. It's instead of taking that kind of backhand line, you have to play it as just a straight shot, 420 feet. If you end up on either side, you kind of get into jail. So I think, especially on this card, I think we'll probably see a lot of people playing it a little bit safer with maybe distance driver, maybe fairway driver, but trying to keep something low like Ryan's doing here. Little hop off the hill and stay in the middle.
Yeah.
That's well executed.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to just give yourself a chance. If you put it low like that with overstability, it's not going to do anything or, get too frisky with the right-hand side like Steven was.
Yeah, he got a little bit lucky through that branch that kind of overhangs the short pad. He'll take it. Mm-hmm. It's up there, but it's going to be that's a stressful way to get onto the fairway.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you just can throw something dead straight through the open part of the fairway, even if it does, like I said, clip the ground and just kind of funnel up.
Yep.
Carson going really high.
Is a little bit inside. That'll be in the rough and not super fun from
through the rough. We'll actually see.
Really?
I think he's
again?
In the same place that,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, Jared was round 1. He's in the fairway essentially for hole 16, or the path to hole 11.
Oh my goodness. I've never seen anyone back there, and we've seen it twice in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. A great approach from Ryan. CJ looking to kind of follow that up. Leaves that a little bit short. That'll be kind of short C2, it looks like, edge of circle.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. And Steven looking to look like a Pokeball zone.
Yep, I believe that's right. Yeah, nice. Good little... oh, no! A bad checkup. It looked like a good checkup.
He couldn't catch them all. Dang it.
Caught the roll.
Yeah, I caught the roll.
That's unfortunate. Oh, we don't get the caddy advice from the cameraman this time?
No, I needed to see where it was ending up here on the green, so let's see how he executes. He puts it high just like Jarrett does. It looks like it caught the branch though. Well,
yeah, kind of a similar result. He'll be a little bit closer than Jared was our first round, but yeah, not where you're looking for over there.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why some of these, I'd say first 3 holes here on the back 9 kind of play as the tougher stretch. Even from the longs, it can get scary.
Wow, another great putt from CJ for birdie. That's a good way to kind of put your foot down to start this back 9.
He's riding some excitement from some really great makes from the front 9. So, firstly, if you haven't checked out the front 9, go back and do that. It's silly that you're here, but he made a lot of great shots, and I think he's kind of leveraging that confidence here.
Absolutely, man. And Carson's putt again, continuing the kind of momentum from the front 9. Yeah. Not exactly as on point as you usually see it from him.
I will say, as these guys clean up here too, that's got to be one of the most demoralizing points of the game. I think putting, being a solid putter, great birdie from Ryan, is really the key to being a top competitor. And when you're in the middle of the round and you're not sure what to do with your putt, it's almost impossible for you to readjust and get back on track.
Absolutely.
It takes another level of professionalism to really do that.
Yep.
And power grip is awesome.
Speaking of professionalism.
Enough said. And I don't know where you're going with that.
I was saying power grip, very professional.
Yeah, very professional. But hole 11, give us the hardest hole here.
My
goodness.
It is
the hardest hole.
This hole's really hard. Hole 11, 396 feet, par 3. It does play significantly downhill, but you've got the super tight gap that we saw in the first round, except for you add another 120 feet, it feels like. Maybe not quite that much, but you add a lot of distance on it. There is a sneaky, not so sneaky, I guess, but there is a huge righty hyzer line up and over everything.
You gotta have 470 foot of power.
I don't think we have anyone in this card who's going to be taking that. I think we'll be seeing everyone go straight up the middle. Wow, that is a nice shot from Ryan. We got a spotter down there.
But that's also what you have to battle with too, is how do you find something that goes straight like that with minimal turn but doesn't fade out?
Yeah.
And so he fades out left to the rough. But he'll
be thrilled with that shot. Anything where you can have an easy up and down for par on this hole is amazing.
I would pay good money to be where he is at every time I play this hole.
Oh, absolutely. Carson, gets through everything high. He's got good distance there, but that's gonna be deep in the rough, I think, unless he gets a nice little break.
Yeah, and I mean this hole actually was creating some backups for us, so we have some of our other competitors doing some spotting here for us too. So shout out to I'm gonna shoot myself for forgetting his name, but the guy spotting for us did an amazing job and kind of gave us a good laugh too, trying to bolster our spirits on the hardest hole of the day. So
yep.
Just some pitches up here. Really, if you find yourself in the open with an unobstructed, maybe even a little bit of a, finagled upshot, then consider yourself lucky.
Yep, and this did play as the hardest hole of the day. 0.76 strokes over par, so yeah, just really
it's a
hard.
par 4, technically speaking, but I think that would change the mentality and cause people to just kind of pitch up to the very first gap.
Oh,
great run.
That's a birdie putt from Ryan. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I like it being called a par 3 personally. I like tough par 3s, but it really makes you execute, and par feels good on it. So
yeah,
I like that. Now that we've had all of our birdie looks out of the way, shout out to Mason Bohr for the only birdie on the day.
Mason, again, yeah.
Our card did get a first-hand view of that as he threw it while we were still on the green. So a little bit of a shout-out, and also shame on you, Mason, for throwing on us. Great putt for par save for Carson there.
As I said, we're all in the amateur field. We're all growing in professionalism. Some of us are aspiring for professionals. Other of us are just enjoying ourselves at the level we're at.
Just enjoying the ride.
Just enjoy the ride, yeah. Which I think a lot of these people, if you're having some woes out here on the course, especially now that we're in the back nine, a lot of people are just enjoying the ride. Like, it's crazy
that kind
CJ.
of flip putt from CJ there. I've seen that before a couple times where you have someone who just feels more comfortable on the little tap ins with the turbo.
For sure. Shout out to Project Disc before we get too far. They equipped this tour with great plastic, so thank you guys very much for your support of the tour. And moving on to hole 12.
This
really
is an interesting shot. Yeah.
Super interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce this one. So this one's it's fun because, it's one of those eagleable ones, but you have to throw literally the prime time perfect shot. Yep. Either a turnover backhand with like a mid-range or fairway driver
thrown
that
really
just
hard,
pipes down this last gap, which is crazy. Or you do what most people do and you just throw kind of like a chipper backhand to the mouth of the gap and then just pitch up for an easy 3.
Yeah, Ryan takes that really wide. I think it's a good result, but
it was
not exactly the typical line you see taking for the layup. Steven's a little bit more typical. I think the usual play is kind of the spike hyzer forehand if you have it.
Oh, absolutely.
Just opens up the gap a little bit more.
And has your disc moving towards the gap so that you don't have as long of a putt. But Steven, he does put it a little further left than you want, but it opens up everything. So he actually has his pick of how he wants to throw it into the green.
Definitely. And CJ's is going to be well left, but should be overall the cabbage and should have a decent look at getting his birdie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Carson, a little sunburn there. Needs to put some sunscreen on next round.
Rookie mistake.
Just messing with you, Carson. Wow, catches the... It looks that will probably be a little bit deep, I would say. Usually when you're pushing that hard straight, it's going to be not in a great spot.
Oh, and that's the risk that you have. If you're too far from this gap, you have to give yourself almost a full throw into it. And if you turn it back into the rough, it's going to be lucky to get a par here. On the 4 anyway, you get the 4.
Yeah, it gets nasty pretty quick if you're off the fairway here.
And CJ
so Carson got a nice kick, I assume. I don't think it would have landed there without hitting some cabbage. And a little scramble forehand shot. That's well done. He's got a birdie putt.
Yeah. That was a fortunate kind of friendly roll off of the branches that he did hit.
There you go.
So,
wow, and that's a super technical shot from Ryan there.
Crazy.
holding the ante through the gap to pan out down towards the basket. That's a great shot. And Steven giving it a little bit of run from the rough.
Yeah. If I recall, while CJ kind of pitches up here, I think Josh Meny, who's also playing along with the card here, did do the direct line. He tried to punch something nearly straight at the basket. He tried to do the big turnover line, but ended up going straight at it. And he made it, I think, to back circle two's edge, but he was in the rough edge, so he had to kind of pitch up here. So
interesting. I feel like when I usually play with him, he plays the pitch up forehand, but
yeah,
I guess we don't play longs at McNaughton too often. So
sure. Yeah,
interesting.
So, interesting in the tournament format. Granted, he's playing against himself.
Yeah, he was a little frustrated
yeah.
for the first round, so I think he's getting pretty aggressive in the second. So
sure,
that makes sense.
Yeah, a great 3 from Ryan. That was a great touchy shot.
Yeah, and a nice birdie from Carson as well. Yeah.
Take what you can when you get it. And so Double Eagle Disc Golf sponsors the tour from Bradenton, Florida, coming up to Central Illinois and getting a part of the action. So thank you guys very much for your support. And moving on to hole 13.
Yep, hole 13, playing the same as we did in the first round, 418 feet, par 3. Basically looking to take a distance driver, maybe a fairway driver if you're a really big thrower, but I think mostly distance driver for all the guys on this card. You've got a gap to hit off the tee, and then you want to avoid being early left, but outside of that, just get your distance on it and try to get a putt.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think with the minor amounts of headwind that we typically get on this hole, the distance driver is definitely the pick.
Yep.
That's a great shot. It's out there in the open, probably 70 feet away.
Yeah, that'll be decently short. That's kind of a typical result that you'll see, though. Yeah. Not quite getting there, but also not being in a ton of trouble. Carson definitely wants to attack this. Doesn't quite have the stability at the end to get a hot back, but that'll be a long putt, it looks like.
He really committed. He did end up driving it low, and I do this all the time.
I've done that plenty of times.
If you're
not
watching,
alone, Steven.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's like every first drive in a casual round, you're like, okay, I need to pump this, and then early release right into the
absolutely.
Chunk. Oh, man.
And CJ leaves his early as well, but he got through the gap. He'll be fine there.
Yeah. And just talking about scores, as Steven, actually, you did the right thing doing that.
Yeah.
I don't want you getting hurt in there. There's lots of stumps and broken stuff. Don't want to get hurt. But really not a whole lot of scoring pressure from anybody else here on the card against CJ. I think it's all on the chase card.
Yeah, we do have
right?
we do have Jared Holt, who's making a charge. I don't know. It's hard to tell in the PDGA app, but I know he's pushing that. I think he gets to about 9 or 10 down on his round total, or not on his round, but on the total score. So he's putting some pressure on CJ at this point.
Gotcha. And yeah,
good
like we
bid
said,
from Carson.
Very good, and it was also a great approach on Steven's side. He nearly threw a skip field ace in there, and then CJ's approach was also really nice. And a great jump putt approach.
Just smart play, not messing with taking a big number there. Unfortunate bogey for Steven, but that's kind of best case scenario once you get into that early stuff.
Well played for just deciding to do the pitch out and then it's not even a super routine upshot. So he played that well given the circumstance he had off the tee.
Yeah, I agree. Now we just got tap outs from here, it looks like.
Yeah, so I think looking towards the end with the scores anyway, CJ's looking to probably start getting maybe a couple more to pad his lead. But right now, I mean, just getting a par, I think he'll have a couple chances here in the upcoming holes. Actually, starting the next hole through, I think he has a lot of chances.
Par 4s all the way out.
All the way through, so we're good. Great Lakes Disc, retailer up in Michigan, kicking down here to Central Illinois to support the tour. Thank you guys so much. Check them out online as well. And we move on to the very first par 4 of the par 4 stretch that wraps us up.
We got 453 feet, par 4. Most players are looking to play kind of a righty hyzer, landing right around where the drone is now. And then you have a pretty easy pitch up from there. You do have thick bushes on both the left and right, and a low ceiling to deal with a little bit, like halfway down the fairway. So, control is key, but you definitely want to be not doing that. Oh boy, Ryan. I don't know if that was a 4 call. You sometimes see players going in there on the next hole into that same set of bushes, so it's possible to get a little bit dangerous there.
And that's the other side. It looks like it stays clean.
Yeah, he'll be having kind of tricky footing there, but he'll have a shot into the green. CJ leaves his a little early as well. Man, this hole's getting the card a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not an easy gap, but it's not the tightest on the course either.
Oh, good toss.
That looks nice if you can get off that low ceiling. Yeah, that's a great shot from Steven.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah, he'll have just a little pitch forehand from there.
So, like, the difference between that and what Carson was trying to do, and I think that's the the pressure that a lot of people get into, is on this hole, I mean, you just need to get yourself 300 to 350 feet, right?
Yep.
So you're not even trying to do full distance shot, because the eagle is, the shot shape's
No,
not
that's
impossible.
That's not. I think you'd have to go roller or something ridiculous for that.
So I mean, Carson hammering on his distance driver versus Steven's control, and wow, going back and forth.
Wow, Ryan's having a tough go this hole.
Yeah, it's the tournament mentality of like, hey, how much do I really actually need?
Yep.
And putting that in a mindset, given we're at the MA1 level, that's a mindset that growing prodigies like Carson here are really trying to learn. I think that he could really see some benefit by maybe tempoing down and just accepting a little less distance in places where he doesn't have to have it, so to speak.
That's a good point. He does throw a good shot from there. He'll still have a C2 putt for birdie, so hard to argue too much with it when you get a good break, but we'll see. CJ, had a little scramble out to the middle there, but he'll have a putt for par.
Yep, absolutely.
And Ryan, having to pitch out twice on the same hole is not what you're looking for.
Yeah, and Ryan in contention, I think, given what could happen on this back, could theoretically get close to CJ, but I think with what's happening here on this hole, I think that's dropping to him.
Yeah, this whole score is gonna hurt that chance a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah. So he did pitch up. I think he'll be able to do a routine tap out here. So Carson trying to look for that putting confidence.
Yep, from about 40 feet or so, it seems.
Let's see if he's got it.
Yep. Maybe. Oh, a good bid. Definitely, that one's looking a little bit closer to a nerves kind of tick than a concentration kind of tick, I have to say.
Okay.
So, I mean, at least to my eye. Still, I don't think going over our 30-second rule that we have in disc golf, but getting a little bit closer there.
And an unfortunate roll away, too, to...
Oh, man. Yeah, you hate to see that.
And he beckons it closer.
Yeah, just that's one of those frustration ticks where it's just, come on, keep rolling. What else bad can happen? Let's bring it on.
Yeah, I don't think this weekend was Carson's weekend, but I have seen him play really great disc golf. Oh, yeah. And I know he's going places, so it's going to be getting that mental game really ironed out, having a mental fortitude, definitely, and with a near cut.
Wow, and trying to get a cut through.
Oh,
good par save from CJ there, and I believe we have Steven parked for birdie here as well, so
I think
that'll be a nice birdie for him. And then I don't even know what this is going to be for Ryan. Yeah, double bogey. I mean, it could have been worse going into that rough a couple times, but
it could have been better too.
It could have been better. Well, I wasn't. Yeah.
I know.
Good birdie from
he
Steven.
knows it
We'll
too.
just leave it there.
Yeah, I know, right? Thank you, John Madden, for calling out the obvious. NADGT, the National Amateur Disc Golf Tour, they elevated this Greater Peoria Tour to a whole nother level by offering invitations to the championships for players that are top in their division. So I want to thank them so very much for collaborating with us.
Yeah.
And hole 15, we do have a long pad here. And this one was upgraded from a par 3 to par 4.
Yep.
And I think definitely kind of relaxes the requirements off the tee for the players.
Definitely, because you can kind of pitch to the gap of the hole here, gap of the tunnel, and then pitch up from there. Oh, Steven's trying to do that. Yeah, Yanks is a little bit wide. He got a good kick, so he'll be in the middle, but more distance than you want on that second shot to approach the green.
Right. And then, I mean, a lot of people could, if they're confident with like a good power shot, might try to punch something into the gap with their straddle scramble. But this is one where it's like you have to make the decision. Do you want to just, be comfortable and throw something?
Oh, that's a tough cut roll. Yeah, that's kind of... That's the risk you take going with that kind of more aggressive play you're talking about with the fairway driver.
Yeah. And actually, there's like 3 categories. There's like driver to drive it into the mouth of the gap. There's throwing like a controlled shot that gets you close to the mouth that you could go for it, or just something like the distance that Steven has here with a great second shot. Wow.
That's beautiful. That'll be maybe C2 it looks like for Steven for a birdie.
Yeah. And then Yeah, so, I mean, he's throwing from like 280 feet, but this is that low ceiling, really
Yeah,
controlled.
low ceiling with tight, bad rough on both sides. It's easy to do something like this with CJ's showing and get off track pretty quick.
Like, I mean, this has, I think all of us probably have the distance to go like a straight 432 if need be, but this is one where this is quite, most definitely a par 4. And it's technical.
I can't throw 432.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Maybe on a good day, maybe, but that's a 1 in 15
hole 18
shot or
here.
something. Well, yeah, that's 40 feet downhill. That doesn't count.
All right, fair enough. Well, yeah, that was just a pitch out from Carson. He had that cut roll off the tee, and he pitched out to here, and now he's forehand.
He's got a little bit of meat left on the bone even from there. So hopefully, let's see if he can get his putting kind of back under wraps.
Absolutely. It's CJ.
CJ just pitching out for his third. Yeah, that'll be easy par. And, I mean, honestly, he doesn't really need to do anything else at this point. At least based on how the lead card's shooting. So, good bid from Ryan.
So, if he's paying attention to the scores at all, he'll see, like
you said, Jared chasing him down. But, yeah. Yeah, and hard to say with what PDGA is showing, kind of where Jared's at this point. But we know he's close.
Yeah. And a putt is up.
Oh,
and
man.
Right.
Yeah, it's just kind of been the theme of the day for Carson so far, unfortunately.
Great putt.
Wow, 2 really nice birdies in a row
guy.
from Steven. And he was a lot closer on that approach than I gave him credit for.
Yeah, and that's a solid birdie. I want to say that was the only birdie.
Let's see. Hole 15. No, we had a decent number of birdies.
Okay, never mind then.
Justin Powell, Mason Bohr, Scott McLean, Steven Nicholson, Talon Carlson.
Okay. All right, so 5 people, and I think this was a
17 person field, I believe.
Okay, gotcha. And we had a lot of divisions represented here today, too. So 17, I think, was the biggest division that we had. No, sorry, I think it was the third biggest because we had MA2.
MA2 or MA3, probably, yeah.
OTB, you know who they are. If you haven't seen them through any of the disc golf stuff, that's insane because they are fantastic online retailers. So go check them out online. Thanks for kicking over here to the tour. Yep. This is our third of our 5-hole par 4 stretch, and this is probably I would say one of the easy upgrades.
Definitely, because this goes from playing as one of the hardest holes in the first round on shorts to one of the easiest holes in the second round.
Special part about this hole is a lot of people like to throw the skip shot off of the road, which I don't have view to right now because there are so many cars.
There's a lot of cars. But they did a good job of keeping it. They're in play, but not super in play.
But now you have to throw over them.
Yeah,
and
it's a little bit scary.
Steven still chose it. I thought that was hilarious. But this is very common. You just want to throw something straight at this point now because it's a par 4. Throw something straight, 300 feet maybe, chip up, get your 3. Yeah, that's a good deal.
If you do have that forehand, it does play really nice for that road shot that Steven showed off, just because then you don't really have to worry about the road at all. Right. Where these shots, it's not in danger, but if you catch a tree kick, if you let it out early, it can very much be in play. Where
just like we saw Dane do in round 1.
Exactly, yeah. So definitely just to note that it's a preferred play if it's an option for the players. And this is going to need to keep turning or get lucky. It does get lucky, so that's a good result, because that can very easily kick OB if it catches one of those trees.
Absolutely. And
CJ trying to put it up there.
In a good spot.
Yeah, it comes out a little bit early, but it'll be a C2 putt, maybe a look for birdie.
But this is 1-2, and we didn't mention it in round 1 because it really wasn't much of a problem, but the rough is like 20 feet to the right of the basket, too.
Oh, yeah, and it is nasty in there. You get in there,
you don't have a
trouble.
putt.
Nope.
So it's okay to miss left, and so CJ's missed left, and this is just a little short. That's okay. Yeah. It's expected for an uphill shot. Yeah, and there's the forehand, and I can see now, once again, we talked about it like on the front 9, Ryan prefers the backhand, and he'll break out the forehand when he needs to, so that's a good result.
It's looked good when he's needed to throw it. CJ from edge of circle, gets the birdie to fall. That's nice. Well done from him, kind of pushing that lead even farther.
Absolutely.
We got birdie look from Ryan.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, there we go. And then we got, close guys for the last 2. So looking at a star frame here potentially.
I think we get it.
I'm going to go ahead and give this one to Carson, I think. I think he's got this one.
I think so, too. Yep. So Another improvement. Let's get a Starfang graphic out here.
Yeah, there we go. I don't think we have the money to give to charity though. Chomez has got the big purse.
Well, who knows? I'll ask our
there you go.
fun
We'll have to check
viewers to we'll get a Patreon going for sponsors for that. So very cool. All right, and let's shout out Underdog Sports, fantastic used sport retailer. They're great at recycling used equipment in all sport areas, and they have an awesome new disc golf selection with the used disc selection as well. So they're just great, and they're in the Springfield and Peoria area. So Springfielders, if you're watching, come to Peoria area, play some of our events, and then you'll be able to check out Underdog there in your locale. So
yep, and payouts for this are in money that can be used at Underdog and at Power Grip. So.
Super cool, you heard it here. Hole 17, second to last hole. It looks like CJ's pretty much got it if he can keep it clean. You're just looking to throw kind of a right-hand, backhand hyzer out to the gap.
Yep.
And then, I mean, most people will try to end up getting close for the second shot, but if you're up here to pitch up for your 4, that's okay too.
Yeah.
I think this plays significantly longer than the 450.
Oh yeah, at 459 it plays as a true 2-shot hole just because the second shot plays about 30 feet uphill.
Right.
So it's definitely gettable as a par 4, but it's not something I don't think anyone, especially in this field and even in the pro field around here, no one's thinking about doing it.
Right.
Good shots from Steven and CJ there. Just kind of pitching it out around the corner. It's kind of all you're looking to do. Just get as much distance as you can while moving left. This looks good from Ryan as well. Yeah.
Yep. And so if your disc goes out of sight so long as it, flew flat at least, that's a great place to be. So just giving it a rip here. He's pulling it out wide. It just means he has a longer shot to get up to the pin, but
that'll still be fine. The only real danger on that tee shot is letting it out early and then you get into the rough, and that's no fun. But
that is an absolute no-go. When you have so much space to work with, it's better to be safe and be just really wide right than to be in the rough on the left. So
it's a nice shot from CJ. He'll be right around 45 feet most likely.
Yeah.
A little bit edge of circle.
And this one's tough too. So we have almost a straight tailwind from this perspective. So it'll actually lift discs as they begin to hyzer out like that one, and then throw them left. And with the slope going right to left, this is a tough green to stick. You either hit the crest of the hill, and that is like 50 feet like short with a downhill putt, or you filter 50 feet long and have maybe some foliage for a woodsy straddle putt.
Yeah, I like what Carson's going for there, trying to play the hyzer out wide, but leaves it a little bit too high up on the hill. Like you said, easy to do that, especially with the tailwind kind of pushing disc straighter. Steven had a huge drive. Anything past that tree is big, and that's wow, that looks like it was really well executed from Steven.
I think he's close.
Yeah, looks like it. All right, we got CJ with a par look with a low ceiling. Yeah, just puts it nice and close. That'll be fine.
That was the birdie look, and he'll have the par.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, what did I say?
Good.
Par and birdie or something like that?
That's all right.
Carson coming back downhill from 70 feet or so.
Man, this is the scary one.
Yeah, kind of lays it up. I feel like he's maybe at the point where he's just kind of running stuff probably, but good to see him kind of keep the presence of mind there and just keep it close.
Oh, that was a rough.
Yeah, that was a nice bid from Ryan from the rough. And here we've got Steven for birdie. That's a nice birdie.
Yep. And this goes to show that wind did pick up here in the afternoon on the day.
Whipping. Yeah.
And that was solid, good confidence from Steven even with the headwind putt. This green, the wind just does weird things with the pine trees diverting the air, with the slope of the green. It's just really hard to tell how you need to angle the nose, and that was solid coming from Ryan there. And then we have Josh making another appearance here.
Another showing.
Good
putt. Yeah, and that wind is going to play mind games on 18
Huge.
Because we're going to have a straight headwind with the downhill shot. It's really tricky to control just where the disc is going to go.
Absolutely.
So should be interesting. And just a quick note before we do our breakdown here, we do have Jared at 10 down at this point with one hole to play. CJ at 12. So
wow.
It's not over yet.
All right. And I'll give this one a go here just to wrap things up. Hole 18, that very first small tree there in the center of the fairway is kind of like your aiming point. You want to be just left or just right of that with your disc going nose down into this headwind with something overstable.
Yep.
And then you're going to hang something wide out to the right here, at least with the righty hyzer, with probably the same disc. Just to try to get the distance. It's tough to go long here, I would say, with most of the power here on the card, but it's always possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would be one, you just got to be able to control that solid 400-foot distance shot to get it close and get the bird. This looked like it was overturned. That's got to be
something really overstable if that's going to come out.
But that wind lift, it put the nose up and it stabled it up. So.
Oh my God, and that's so far down the fairway from Steven. That's huge.
That was an amazing tee shot.
He can really rip them.
Mm-hmm. It's letting the disc work for him too. I don't think that was as overstable as you think, but he controlled the angle well enough with the nose up too to really work it.
Gotcha. But you see the wind playing tricks on CJ here. Yeah, that's oh my goodness, that's the spot you don't want to go. That gets nasty very quick in there.
Yeah, and I mean you just mentioned scores. If he's looking at scores, which I thought he did, he just wants to put it in play.
Yep. It's a nice pull from Ryan.
Yeah.
Fading out a little bit early, maybe a touch of nose up on that, but that's got plenty of distance.
Absolutely. And I think the nose up is somewhat okay here when you're throwing it down there just with the headwind. You don't want it overturned like CJ's was.
Yep.
So I think Carson here is just going to use it for what it's worth and pipe something down there, and that's a great shot too.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets a ton of distance on that too, and Steven's still another 30 feet ahead of him. That's wow.
Steven's shot was crazy.
Yeah, it's a great shot. All right, CJ's got a...
Let me give you... I was in here with him. There is absolutely nothing. He is actually pitching it at a 45-degree backwards.
I was going to say, is he coming backwards?
He's literally going backwards to go forwards.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. Did a good job getting out, though.
Yes.
And this is a nice shot just to... Yeah, he's got to just get up and down from there to get the win.
Bogey. He has to have a bogey. Because it's got to put the pressure on Jared to have to birdie in order to push to a playoff. So if he gives the double, then it's... Yeah,
then who knows?
It's almost
it's
an
anyone's
instant
game.
Yeah. Nearly an instant playoff.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it looks like Carson, like you were saying, is going just with the same disc here that he threw off the tee.
Yeah.
Just trying to rip it. The shot plays so far. The second shot, because you're going downhill on the first shot, back uphill on the second shot.
Yeah.
Feels like you can get all the distance in the world on the first one, and the second one it feels like, oh, why isn't the disc going anywhere?
Yeah, and it's the tiny uphill run up too. It pushes things high, and just like that, Carson puts his disc really high, so the nose up doesn't push, and then it just kind of stalls
out. Oh man!
And that's the alternative. You try to put the nose down, and
and that's a shame. He's going to be pretty disappointed after that drive to not even have any kind of putt or anything. That's
a tough one. I'm curious as to why he didn't try to put something more overstable out on hyzer just to guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was just a misrelease.
Sure.
But yeah, tough break.
Anyway,
good. Looked like a good approach from CJ. Yeah, he'll have a putt. I don't know. Hard to tell exactly how close it is, but he'll definitely have a putt for his bogey there. Ryan maybe trying to give this a run. Yeah, it looks like long. A run, a little bit deep.
Yeah.
And Carson, I don't know if he'll be running this or not. Probably. Why not? Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty aggressive putter. He's probably trying to give it a bid.
But just wanting to put a good end cap on his tournament here.
Yeah, definitely.
That wind's just going to hold it
out. Wind holds it out. Still, should be an easy putt from there.
Yeah, not his best effort by any means, finishing 2 over on the day.
Nice
but
putt from Steven.
He's got a lot of game. Steven also, yes, a ton of game too. He's 2 down, on the day, on the round.
Ryan finishes even on the round, not exactly what he's looking for.
But it's okay. Yeah, this wind picked up. It made the difficulty a little bit harder here.
Yeah.
And then I think after
Josh is contemplating throwing his putter in the lake over there. Oh, and CJ's parked. Okay, so he's got this putt for the win from 2 feet.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Getting the congratulations from the card.
Yeah.
Good for CJ.
Yeah.
Great shooting on the day. Congrats, CJ.
Yeah. And I think news is that
Jared took a double on hole 1 as his final hole, so he finishes tied for second with Steven at
Okay.
8 under.
We'll see what the score breakdown is here. And yeah, CJ, our Mayhem at McNasty champion. So I think he's getting an invite to Austin, Texas. Thank you, NADGT.
All right.
And 11 down. I mean, that's solid. Windy day.
Yeah, across 2 rounds, that's a great score.
Two-way tie for second, Jared and Steven. Yeah, good disc golf on all those. And yeah, this is just a fun place to be, and happy that we could get some coverage out here. I think getting more visibility to McNaughton would be key to people traveling to the area. So Ben,
Definitely.
thank you once again.
Yep, thanks for having me again, and congrats, CJ. Great watching you play disc golf.
We will catch you guys at the next Greater Peoria Tour stop. Yeah, it's going to be Washington
Yeah,
Park.
Panther Open. That's what it's called.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you then.
All right.